Hello, this is Chris Nelling presenting vaccination coverage, vaccine preventable diseases, autism in the U.S. anti-vaccine movement to Data 620, Section 9041 with Professor Majed Al-Gandour at UMUC. The question I was interested in was how the anti-vaccine movement may affect vaccine coverage and caseload of vaccine preventable diseases, abbreviated VPDs, in the United States. This slide represents some background information. On the first slide, the green line represents total coverage or percent coverage of vaccines in the United States for that year. The yellow line represents occurrences of VPDs in that year, and the thickness of the yellow line represents the number of deaths. Red reference bars represent fuel to the or incidences that acted as fuel to the anti-vax movement. The purple line represents an education campaign for vaccines initiated by the CDC and the Academy of Pediatrics, and the blue line represents when measles had been eliminated from the United States indigenously. This slide represents forecasting of future VPDs in the red region, with the line showing the estimate and the shaded area outside the line representing the precision or the confidence intervals. And as we can see that the confidence interval is very large and even extending into the negative region. I believe that the forecast is probably has low accuracy and due to many factors being involved. This slide represents cases of measles and pertussis, which again is whooping cough, with the top half of the slide representing measles, the bottom half whooping cough. And in each section, the very top graph is in the United States, the middle graph is all of the Americas, and the bottom graph is global. I want to show the difference in the trend lines. The slope of the US trend line for the entire data set, which runs from 1980 to 2015, has a slope of negative 249. That's negative 249 times the incidence or times the year plus the y-intercept to give the incidences. If we adjust this to the years using the filter to 1998 to 2007, this is the time period in between the paper linking autism to vaccines and the more recent marketing campaign that started in 2007. Here the slope is adjusted to -7 so that we can see that the paper has had some impact on vaccines, and adjusting our dates from 2007 to 2015. The 2007 date is when Jim Carrey and Jenny McCarthy and other celebrities started their buy-in into the autism fallacy and began to spearhead the anti-vaccine movement. And we can see that the slope is for the first time positive, and the positive slope is at +40. Similar results are shown with the pertussis vaccine below, or cases of pertussis in the United States. This slide represents global vaccine coverage, the MMR vaccine specifically. This was singled out because both the paper and the recent anti-vax movement activities claims that increased use in vaccine will lead to increased autism in children of the countries that use vaccine. The filter gives a snapshot for an individual year, where the darker the color, the greater the coverage of MMR vaccine in that country. And when you hover over a country, you also get the percentage of diagnosed autism in that country, which is usually less than 1%. And if we hover over various countries, here is Russia with coverage of 98% and about 0.86% autism rate. Compare that to the United States, lower coverage and higher autism rate. Um, Zambia similarly has only a 93% coverage, or has a 93% coverage, which is actually pretty high for a third world nation, and only 0.78 percent autism. So there appears to be no correlation in given years between the autism and or the rate of autism and the rate of vaccine coverage. The next slide combines all the data points into a single graph rather than being a snapshot per year. And here the x-axis is vaccine coverage and the y-axis is autism percentage. We can see there is a very slight positive correlation, but if you look at the slope, it's less than 0.002, and the r-squared value is 0.18. So the trend is very weak, or the correlation is very weak, and we can see that when we split the data out and compare it by year, we also see an increase in terms of year. And some areas for future research, I would like to divide out the United States into states data and compare, similar to the global data, compare autism rates in states along with vaccine rates. And as a summary, the anti-vaccine movement is causing real damage with spurious arguments. 5 data sets were used in the making of this video, and history of the anti-vaccine movement came from these sources. Thank you.